So good afternoon, everybody. My name's Duncan. I'm one of the participants here at Fire Bootcamp for 2014, and today I'm going to be running through an introduction to Hot Towel Angular, which is a SPA or single-page application template from John Papa. And today I'm going to run through these 4 points. So we're going to have a talk about what is Hot Towel Angular, where to find out more about using it, what are the good and potential bad sides of using Hot Towel Angular, and where to actually get it and install it. And we'll spend most of our time actually running through the folder structure and what you get out of the box with the template. So what is Hot Towel Angular? This is the description that comes straight off John Papa's GitHub website. So he says, Hot Towel Angular creates a great starting point for building a single page application or SPA out of the box. It provides a modular structure for your code, view navigation, data binding, separation of services, and a simple but elegant styling. Hot Towel provides everything you need to build a SPA so you can focus on your app but not the plumbing. So that's a lot of stuff, and we'll get to run through it and actually see what it looks like inside the folder versus just reading out lots of text. So who is John Papa? John Papa, this is his GitHub site. He is a SPA or single page application authority in the community. So he's someone who's already made and promotes a lot about best practices with SPAs. If you're making them with Angular or Durandal, or if you're making them all your own custom code, he's kind of gone and made all those mistakes already. So it's a great starting place to come if you want to learn a lot about best practices and save yourself from making those mistakes. So this is his GitHub site, and you could go download the files here if you wanted to get it, but I'll show you an easier way with NuGet. And this is his blog. And I'm showing you this on purpose because this Angular style guide is something that I wish I'd read from the beginning. So rather than just jumping straight into using Hot Towel, this is a great place to start because you can read through all of the best practices that you'll actually get to implement if you follow his Hot Towel template. And this is where you can get his courses online at Pluralsight. So he's got 2 fairly long courses on building apps with Angular and Breeze. And these are fantastic. So if you really are going to implement it and you wanted to dive in a fair bit deeper, he goes well beyond the structure that comes out with Hot Towel just out of the box. So what's good, what's bad about using Hot Towel? So the really big positives would be 2 things. 1, it's going to save you a lot of time. And 2, you're going to be able to follow best practices out of the box. So in terms of saving time, you're going to get all of your folder structure, you're going to get your JavaScript libraries, you're going to get routing, errors, and a whole bunch of other things. So it's very similar if you were to think about going file new project and getting an MVC5 template. It's very much similar to that. You could just do an empty project and put it all in yourself, but this is going to save you a bunch of time to have all of that structure there already. And the other thing is you're going to be following best practice. So best practice in lots of different things. Best practice in how to actually have your folder structure with an Angular application, and also in terms of naming and controllers and factories and separation of concerns and separating out your repository and all of those things. And I'll show you what that looks like in a sec. In terms of negatives, it's very hard to say there's any big negative with using the template, because if there's anything you don't like, you could just cut it out. So if there's anything in there where you're like, oh, this is going to be something that I don't want to use, then you're not committed to doing that. So there's not really too much of a downside to it. So probably best now to jump into some code and actually have a look at what it looks like versus more talking. So if I jump into Visual Studio here and go File, New Project, and just make a blank, or actually I won't make a blank web app. What I'll do is I'll make an MVC application with Web API and push OK here. Whoa.
Hit pause. Exit, go another one. Exit Visual Studio and come back in. Oh. So it doesn't record all the stuff that you're not doing.
No, it's better. It's going to create some problems.
Oh, sorry.
So just go again.
Sorry.
So do you want me to just jump back in?
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just do a blank face for you so you can cut it nicely. Okay. So I'll just jump into Visual Studio and click File New Project here and select an MVC project, push OK. And what I'm doing here in choosing an MVC template, it's very much the exact same thing I'm about to do when I go to NuGet and get a hot towel template. So it's very much a similar way if you're trying to make a comparison or think about what actually is hot towel. It's a template very much similar to pulling down an MVC template. So if I come across to NuGet, come into the project and manage NuGet packages, come up here and search for hot towel. So you want to be careful which hot towel you choose. There's actually several hot towels in here. You don't want the hot towel Angular Breeze unless you want to include Breeze in the project. We just want this one up here, which is just hot towel Angular. So I'll install this one. And you actually see down here in the dependencies, you get quite a lot of third-party JavaScript libraries out of the box. So if you're going to make a spa, one of the benefits of using this is that you're going to probably want all of these things. So you could do it in an empty project, but this is going to save you time. So I'll just say yes to all here to accept all those. So the first thing you'll notice over here in the Solution Explorer is that there's 4 things have been added. You'll get this app folder, and inside there is the whole section for anything to do with Angular. So he puts it all in one place. So here you're going to have all of your controllers and views and modules. Anything to do with your spa is going to be sitting in this folder. You're going to get some CSS files in here for the styling, and you're going to get some third-party scripts will be down in your scripts folder, and then you'll get an index.view, which will be your single page for the application. So if we actually jump onto a browser and have a look at what it looks like straight out of the box, this is what you get. So you can see here that you're going to have a responsive layout. So you've got Twitter Bootstrap. You're going to be getting dates with moment dates. You're going to be getting Font Awesome for your icons. You're going to get nice animations that come with AngularJS. And the only thing that's changing here is the space, this white space here. So inside here is your ng view, which I'll show you in a second, and it's injecting in all your views, just like similar to having pages come in and out. So if we come back to our Solution Explorer in Visual Studio here, and we just make this a bit bigger, and we jump into the app folder and dive in a little bit deeper, first thing you'll notice is that there's actually no controllers folder. So there's 2 main conventions for doing a spa. One convention is to go, I'm going to have a folder for controllers and a folder for views and a folder for models, just like you would in MVC for .NET. And that's a fine way to do it. The other way to do it, which is the way John Papa does it, is to go, I'm going to do my folder structure via feature. So I have an admin feature or a dashboard feature, and inside there I'll then put all the related files. So you can see we have the admin view, the .html, and we have the admin controller. So it's just a little bit different way of doing it. Nobody's right or wrong with it, it's just 2 different preferences. If we come down from there, we'll see the common folder. And the common folder is one of the benefits of using the hot towel Angular, is that you're going to get out of the box a whole bunch of extra code that John Papa's put together that's going to make your life easier. So you can see that you've got a spinner.js down here for adding some nice animations in page loading. You're going to be getting a logger for getting some toaster messages that pop up, which if I just jump back on the page, if I change pages, you'll see I get this toaster down here. So that's the logger that comes out of the box all set up. So that's a really handy way to be able to show some messages on the page. And then you'll get a common folder, which he's made a common module in Angular, which gives you access on every page to all of those things that you might want in lots of different places. And then Bootstrap as well. He's actually got some Bootstrap modals that come out of the box. So rather than going and writing your own modals in Twitter Bootstrap, he's actually got some templates already there out of the box to use. And then if we come down from there, you'll find the layout folder. And inside the layout folder is anything to do with layouts. So all of your navigation at the top, the sidebar, all of those sorts of things. And if we have index.html open here, the single page. If we come down, normally on the single page, what you'd see is an ng view, and that's the place that you'll inject all of the views with Angular. But what he's actually got here is this app layout shell. So he's then gone, well, I'm going to put all of the stuff to do with my layout inside that shell. So if we come across the layout, we'll see that shell.html. And if we open that up, inside here, you'll see that he's actually applying, I'll just move this aside for a sec, layout top nav. So your top nav's sitting there, your sidebar's sitting here, and then finally, but surely, we've got the ng view here. So this is where your actual views will be injected in. So all of it's in the one place to make it quite easy to find it all. And then the next folder down is services. So services is a very important part, and this is one of the nice things about following best practices if you're using the template, is there's this data context. So data context is very similar to, say, having a repository. So rather than in your controller making direct AJAX calls or calling the web API directly, what you can do is you can abstract all of that out into one place. So similar to having a repository, so it's all in one area. So if you're making a call, you know where it's going to be, and your controllers are not directly hooked into that. So if I jump into the dashboard controller here to show you quickly, and come down, what we'll see is we have this data context.getMessages count. So rather than actually having a call out to the web API, it's having that implementation is over in the data context. So nice separation of concerns there. And then under that, you've got your app.js, and another part of the John Papa style or opinion is to come down and have all of your modules in one place. So all of your Angular modules, your custom modules, and your third-party modules are all assigned here. The other place that's really handy out of the box to have is config.route. So config.route is having all your routing set up. So if we have a look down, we can see that dashboard page will be down here. Just move this across. So app dashboard.html is going to be on just at the home page, and the title will be dashboard, and then we can see the navigation here for the settings. So this is where you'd set up all your routing. So this is a really quick just scroll through and show you where all the stuff is with the hot towel. But probably the handiest thing to do now to finish up would just be to show you actually if you wanted to add a page, where would all that fit in. So I'll just very quickly do that. So if we wanted to add another, again, John Papa's opinion is that we would add a folder for every feature. So if we wanted to add a contact page, for example, we could come in, I'll just stop debugging, and add a folder, add a new folder, call it contacts, and then come into that folder and add a view. So I could come down and go new HTML page, let's call it contact.html. And I'll also add very quickly a controller. So JavaScript file, call it contacts. And John Papa's style guide is very opinionated about naming all of your controllers with a suffix at the end for controller, so it's very easy to see what it is. And to save time here, you could go use Sidewaffle, which is an ability to be able to get templates for making your controllers, but just for the sake of ease and time today, I'm just going to jump in and copy it out of the other one. So if I come back into contact here, I'm just going to paste that in and change the name of the controller to contact. And then I'm going to do the same for taking the view out of admin again and pasting it into the contact view. And one thing you'll see with John Papa is there's lots of different conventions with Angular. There's so many different ways of doing stuff. There's like 10 ways of doing everything. So one of the good things is you won't have to kind of go read everybody's opinion on it. If you just want to follow one person's opinion who's already made a lot of mistakes, then this is a great way to go. And if you have a look up here, he's using the controller as syntax. So we just need to reference that controller up here and say contact as VM. And then we have a page set up here. So I'll just change the title of it to contact so we know that this is the contact in this header here. Now, the last thing, couple of other things we need to do to get this working, we need to add the routing for it very quickly. So if we come down to our routes, just quickly paste in a route. So if we go to /contact, then we're going to have a contact page. We'll change the title to contact. We'll change the HTML to contact and contact.html so it knows where to go when it's loading up the page. And we can change the font awesome icon to a phone. And we'll change the sidebar to say contact in the menu there for us. Okay, I think we're missing a bracket. Is that right? Nope. Anyone catch me there on what I'm missing?
Control-K, Control-T.
Oops. That fixes. Whoa. I'll just repaste that in. 2 seconds. There we go, I just want to paste it down on this one. There we go. It's just 2 seconds, I'll do that again. So just referencing the view to inject here, and then changing the icon to a phone. We'll change this to contact in the sidebar, so it's saying contact. Save that. And the last thing we need to do here in the Solution Explorer is we need to go to index page and add a reference at the bottom of the page so we pick up that JavaScript. And this will be the last thing. So we just need to add a reference down here for the controller we just added. And then that should be everything. So basically what we've done is we've made a controller, we've made a view, we've added the routing, and then we've added a reference to that controller on the main index page. So if all is lucky here, when we load this up, we won't get an error like this. Routes provider. So just pop back into routes, config, oops. Control save. Lovely working in JavaScript versus .NET without getting all of your errors popping up really obvious for you in your face. So let's go jump back to our display here and see if we fixed our error. Okay, so now you can see we have a contact on the side. And if we click on that contact, it'll roll in and show contact. So just showing you where all the pieces pull together there and how easy it is out of the box to get going using Angular Hot Towel. So that's the end of the demonstration. Anybody have any questions?
How long did it take you to get up to speed with Octal?
I think it's very quick to get going with it. If you watch his videos, you're probably looking at a half a day to add a view and to change out his design of the, because most of the time you're not always going to want a sidebar and have a black Metro theme. So that probably took half a day. And then this was really something I really learned to cut my teeth on with doing JavaScript and making a SPA. So then it probably took, I don't know, maybe a week after that to start getting comfortable with it, to actually start being able to do some things on the page and starting to get your contact and everything working. But the first application probably took, I don't know, it's hard to say because it's not really the learning curve as much as just the development time. But it's definitely a different way of thinking, very different way of thinking versus model view controller. And there's first 5 minutes is fun and really easy, but then after that there's a huge learning curve, yeah.
So what's the main reason you want to use Angular over ASP.NET MVC? Is it faster, or is it easier, or is it more efficient?
Great question. And I think now, having time to reflect back on it, it makes me love ASP.NET MVC even more, because it's just so bulletproof and so fast and so efficient and so tested. But when you actually go to make a complicated client experience, like I wanted to have a grid on there that people could change something and it would instantly update, and then it would count that up and then save that in the database and come back and start doing that with a telegrid. And you get there, but it's never quite what you want. So if I had something that was really client heavy and lots of editing on the page and lots of interaction, then that to me would scream use something like Angular. But if I was just doing a grid and sorting through data and it's static, I'd do MVC. .NET style. So it's not something that I've finished and gone, oh my God, everything I do is going to be Angular, because it does take longer but yeah, that's my opinion. I love it, it's great, but I wouldn't say that it's a magic bullet that fixes everything. Great. Thank you very much, guys.
Did you get all that? We'll take the SSW TV quiz and test your knowledge now.